I just want to get into the energy. I just want to get into the space where I can really, feel where I'm at. Really feel where I'm at in this place. Sometimes your body just feels all locked up, and you need to, see that that's waking it up. That's waking it up for me. Those vibrations, you see, they enter the muscles, the fascia, right? They enter the fascia, and they really wake it all up, and they wake you up, and I think we forget about that. We forget that vibration and sound are really what we are too. We are that. Right now, I'm vibrating. My whole body is vibrating, and just there's so much going on, right? Okay, all right. Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of Marty's Minute Meditations. If you like Marty's Minute Meditations, I highly suggest going to visit my Patreon page. That's patreon.com/Marty's Minute Meditations. Become a patron. Just do a monthly donation. Help me to provide this service for men, right? Help me to communicate the questions and the issues that men face today. The big questions, the scary ones that, we're afraid to talk about. That, the media doesn't want us to ask, right? The media in general just doesn't want us talking about these things because they're scared, right? They're scared of conversation. They're scared of the openness and communication that can happen, right? So that's kind of why, a lot of people ask me, they go, Marty, why do you have a podcast? And the answer is, I need to be under the radar. I need to be under the radar. Once I was above the radar, I was in the radar, or I was the radar. It was one of those. It had something to do with the radar. But now I'm under the radar, because I say things that are really controversial and really scary to people, like trusting your feelings. Like, that's really scary to people. The idea of believing that your feelings are the truth, and that's the only truth that exists. A lot of people don't want to hear that. They're scared of that reality because it's true. Everybody thinks that facts are the truth, but really, it's the feelings that are true. If you're going to throw quote unquote facts at me and science, I will challenge them with feelings and emotions and energies, right? So I just need to say that, right? And okay, I want to start this episode off with a tone. All right, I feel like that's cleared up the space a bit. Welcome. Once again, welcome to Marty's Minute Meditations. Today, I really wanted to talk about something important. It's so strange. I was talking about being under the radar, right? On the radar, and the radar, right? And I think we have to talk about, and I was talking about the media. Something that's really interesting that I've been thinking about lately is how people listen to me on this this medium, right? The podcast. So interesting. And podcasts can happen on on your laptop, on your tablet, on your phones. We have so many screens, right? So many ways to connect to the world. And I wanted to call this episode the blue light. Something like that. To really emphasize this idea that all these screens have this thing called blue light. And I think it's really interesting because we're seeing a rise in depression lately. Everybody's getting depressed. They're all sad, right? Everyone's sad. Everyone's depressed. Everyone's really bummed out, and it's like, why are energies being compromised right now? Like, why is that? Why are our energies compromised? And it's because we keep looking at these phones and these laptops and these screens, right? And science is revealing that these blue lights are very hazardous to our health, our emotions. Really dangerous. And this is where I have to come out as being anti-science right now. I have to say it. I have to say anti-science. Everyone raves about all these, things that that mankind is capable of, right? Oh, we make bridges, we make plants that can sustain cold weather and disease and all that. Well, what about the nuclear bomb? Humans also made that, right? And that's not so good, right? Science has been known to do horrible things, right? Science is evil. Science is an evil thing, and so is mathematics. But no one wants to talk about it, but I will talk about it. Marty's going to go out there and talk about it, right? Because I'm under the radar. I'm under the radar, and you know what? I don't care what the government has to say, okay? I'm going to come out and say it. Science and math is wrong. It's bad. It's evil, right? And so that ties in to talking about these technologies, right? So we're talking about like cell phones, right? Smartphones and laptops. And, of course, the government wants us to look at these and use them for work. And all the while, we're becoming sick, right? It's destroying our brains and our eyes, right? And our emotions, right? And I think it's so strange that it's called blue light, right? If you look it up, science says that it emits this light called blue light. And how interesting that the blue light makes you feel blue, right? So we all feel a little bit blue, right? And I think we have to contend with the fact that not only does the technology itself do that to us, but also what's in the technology, what's hidden in there, right? What we keep seeing, right? All the news that comes out. We're bombarded with all this news. People wouldn't really get this news. Like 20 years ago, we wouldn't be getting this much news all the time. But we get it. All this sad news. What's the first thing you do when you wake up, right? Is it do you go take a shower? Do you have breakfast? Do you stretch? Do you even get a chance to breathe before you look at your phone? Ask yourself that question. Do I even give myself a moment for me before I open that phone? But what do? We open our phone. We look at our Facebooks and our Instagrams, our Twitters. We look at those immediately. How much has changed since 8 hours ago? Not much. Not much. But then we look at it anyway. Is that really how you want to start your day? Do you really want to start your day by, looking at how many likes you've got? Looking at how many comments people have put and what those comments say? Do you look at how many listens your podcast has gotten in the past 8-10 hours, right? Do you do that? Do you look at the comments that people say about your show? And then they say these hateful, rude things, these horrible things about how, you're anti-woman, and then there's other people who are going, you're anti-man, and then there's other people going, you're anti-animal, you're anti-soap. I just, all the antis, and of course, all the negativity would be focused on this blue light. It's blue light. It's there to make you depressed. It's there to make you sad. It's the government making you do these things. I know that a lot of you are going, Marty, calm down with the government, right? Calm down. No one's going to take you seriously because we totally believe everything you're saying. We totally believe everything you're saying. But when you say it like that, it makes it a little hard to listen, right? Well, I have to say it like this. How else can I say it except like this? Okay? So you get on your phone and immediately and then 30 minutes go by and you realize you're trapped, right? Because somehow these creators of these devices have found a way to brainwash you. They're grabbing onto you. They're grabbing onto our minds, okay? And this isn't, some catastrophizing or this isn't to make you feel scared or worried, but they are taking your life and they're taking your brain and they're trying to manipulate it in a way that they want to so that you are essentially a slave. You're a mental slave to them. So anyway, I think that's an important thing to think about, is falling into that trap, falling into that wormhole of just being depressed and scared and neurotic, right? They want that from you. They want to do that to you. So what do? You're going, Marty, well, how do I How do I stop doing that? I rely on my phone for my job. I rely on my phone for my social life, right? I rely on my phone so that I can remember when to take my medications, right? Which, we'll do this in another episode, but I will venture to say that you don't even need your medications. You don't need the medications that you were prescribed from a doctor, okay? Do you really need it to stay alive, like your doctors say? Do you really need it in order to, prevent your high cholesterol, like your doctors say? Do you really need your medicine to balance out your hormones, right? Do you need your medication to balance out, the chemicals in your brain so you don't, hear other voices? Do you really need that? Do you really need that? I'm just, that's another episode and we'll talk about that. But I really need to emphasize the fact that, the science has done some pretty terrible things in the past, and you have to, it's the idea of fact versus feelings, right? How do I feel right now? And really keying into those emotions and really finding the truth in your emotions, right? Do the blue lights make you feel bad? Well, then they're probably not good for you, right? And that's all just when you're awake. That's all just when you're awake. Imagine what your technology is doing while you're asleep. There's just so much talk right now. There's so much talk about, your technology listening in on your conversations, right? And using its algorithms to sell you things or to document what you're saying so that it could be used against you, right? And we should be afraid of that, These technologies are just amping up our neuroses, right? And our fear in our culture and society. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I think the wrong thing? You know what? They're making us afraid of who we really are. And so what are they doing while you're asleep, right? What are these phones? You go to bed, right? You brush your teeth, you put in your eye drops, you use your eye compress, right? Maybe you wash your face, you put on, a nice lotion to exfoliate your face. You take a nice hot bath, right? Maybe you take a couple supplements before you go to bed. You do all the necessary things before you go to bed. You say your mantras for about a half hour. You do about an hour of yoga. You stretch, you breathe. You sing yourself a song. You talk to the elders. You reach out to the spirits. You expand your energy for about 20 minutes and you chant. You go into tongues for maybe 15 minutes in order to channel the thoughts and the messages of your ancestors. And then you're ready to cuddle up into bed and get a nice sleep. But before you do that, what do? You look at your phone. You look at just before you go to bed. Maybe I need to look at my phone just to make sure. To make sure of what, folks? To make sure of what? The world's still there. You're still there. It's okay. It's okay. Your skin's exfoliated. You've talked to the ancestors. You've gotten in touch with your spirit and your feelings. Why do you need to talk to the phone? The phone is going to do nothing for you. It's going to do nothing for you. But still, we look at it. We check in. What does the phone have to say? Put it away. Put it away. But then what do? We put it right next to us before we go to bed. And look, we're not alone. It's this fear of loneliness. And there it is. We put our phone right there just in case. I put mine on my pillow right next to me, like a lover, like an electric lover. And who knows what those Bluetooth radiation waves do to our brains? But right now, they're making me feel comfortable. They're making me feel not alone. They're making me feel like I have a partner in the world. And we'll talk about how this ties into, artificial intelligence later on, because it's going to be a way that the government makes us not feel so alone as they take away our freedoms. But, this loneliness that we feel, and it's made better by, putting that phone, right on the pillow next to us. Maybe you tape it to a body pillow, right? So when you're hugging that body pillow, you feel like there's somebody there, and maybe you might put on some kind of recording of somebody talking that you really, look up to. Maybe you listen to Barack Obama speeches, right? You're like, oh, I don't feel so alone. Barack's here with me, right? Or maybe, if you're a Republican, you have, Trump speeches, right? So you don't feel so alone. Trump, you lay next to Trump and you feel his warm embrace, maybe, right? That's if you're a Republican. I don't want to talk about ideologies right now. I just want to talk about how we try to not feel alone and how we try to use this technology to make us not feel alone, right? Maybe you do feel like you want to be wrapped in the embrace of Trump. I mean, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. Maybe he has a warm embrace. But we all do it. And I try to focus on what makes us the same. Right? What makes us the same? Politics divide us, but you know what doesn't? Our loneliness. Our loneliness. And what do we do when we go to bed? We put that phone right next to us. The thing that divides us. And it keeps us company. Isn't that interesting? The thing that divides us keeps us company. Wow. That was really deep. And that was not a planned moment. I just want to say that. I want to say that was not a planned idea. But I think I'm happy I got it out. I'm happy that, I went on that tirade in order to really get to the point of it, right? And so what do, right? You have it right next to you, so you don't feel alone. And so they're there. And so what do they do when we're asleep? Are they listening to us? Are they paying attention to our breathing, right? Are they stunting our breath? Are they intervening in our dreams, right? Those necessary dreams that help us sort out what happened throughout the day. Those dreams are important for our minds and our emotions. And what if those radio waves that come from those phones and those technologies, they intervene and they create nightmares? Have you been having nightmares lately? I have. And I'm pretty sure it's because of my phone. And I'm not, and this is not, I know what you're saying, Marty, you're freaking out. No, I'm not. I'm sure of it. Because I did a test. I did it. I tried it. I put my phone in another room when I went to bed, and I had great dreams. I had wonderful, lovely dreams. And then I brought the phone back in, and I had horrible nightmares. And it's just, I know that the phones are making us, paranoid and nervous. Even while we sleep, they're trying to do this. They're trying to create fear in us, even while we sleep. So I wanna do a meditation in order to cleanse you of your desire for these technologies, right? And to kind of, this is just a general episode about it. I mean, we'll talk about it as we go on, in the show, but I feel like I need to lead us in an exercise just to start this cleansing of technology, because, I'm just getting around to this reality that science is evil. Science is evil and it must be stopped. Okay. Remembering to breathe. Just tapping into that tone. That tone is where life is, right? You're finding where your mind is in this tone, finding where the humanity and the spirit and the energy is in this tone. Allowing this tone to just clean the space of all that negative energy, right? If you have your phone around you, put it away, right? Unless that's what you're listening to this podcast on. Don't put your phone away. Remember to put it away later for a secondary meditation. But for right now, keep your phone with you if you're listening to me through that. Same with your laptop if you're listening. But any other electronics, if you don't need them, take them out of the room, right? Okay? So if you have, if you're listening on your phone but you have your laptop, get rid of your laptop. Is there a television around? Get rid of that too. Your Xbox, your PlayStation, put that in a different room. I'm going to give you time to do that, right? Getting rid of all the technology around you, right? Is there a toaster around you? You're probably going to want to get rid of that. iPod, iPod Shuffle, get rid of that technology. It's all evil. It could all listen to you. It could all interrupt the mind, so we need to get rid of it. What about the microwave? I mean, those waves are dangerous already. I mean, it's in the name, right? Wave, microwave. They're dangerous. Get rid of that. Get that out of the room. Maybe get that out of the apartment, just for now. What about that pesky refrigerator? That could be interrupting your mentality, your energy, your spirit. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. It may take a little more time. I'm going to give you some time with that one to get rid of your refrigerator and your oven too, because that's also could really interfere, right? Especially a gas stove. There's gas, that could be really messing with your mind. What about your credit cards? Right? Those have magnets in them, don't they? Technology. That could really be messing with your mind, those magnets. You don't know what it could be pulling towards you, and your brain's in between it, so you don't know. You don't know what's there, right? Okay, all right. So you've gotten rid of all that stuff, right? You've gotten rid of all that stuff that can interrupt this meditation, right? And you're breathing, and close your eyes, right? As long as you're not driving or operating heavy machinery, right? Because also that stuff can get in the way. Get in the way of your mind, right? When you're walking through the forest, do you smell the air? Do you hear the rustle of leaves and the wind blowing through them? That is real. That is reality. You bend down and you touch the grass and the dirt. You swipe your hands across the bark of the trees. You smell the moist air lifting from the river trickling not too far from you. Breathe it in. You do not smell or touch the gentle love of Facebooks or Twitters or Instagrams. They don't speak to you with the love of nature. There is a silence in the forest. A silence that cannot be met with the chatter of technology. This loud chatter which interrupts the mind and asks you to seek, what do you believe? Because what you believe is a weapon. But the forest just wants you to believe that you are here. You are here. You are here. You are here. There is no other you. There is no other reality but this one. Breathe in the silence of this reality. Thank you for listening to another episode of Marty's Minute Meditations. I'm so happy that you can be with me. And although technology is dangerous and science can be evil, remember that if we love each other and if we take the time to actually listen and communicate, maybe all that chatter will stop. forward to talking to you next time on another episode of Marty's